Today I'm going to talk about nonverbal communication. Have you ever wondered how much nonverbal communication is displayed throughout a typical conversation and how it can actually affect the direction of that conversation? Nonverbal communication is an involuntary action or reaction that often represents a person's true feelings. Nonverbal communication is practiced on an everyday basis. I'm going to talk about nonverbal communication, how it can be displayed, how it's not always known that it's being displayed, and some examples regarding this. There are several different types of nonverbal communication, but I do have a few listed here for you guys. The first one I have is eye contact. I have body language, facial expressions, posture, and size. So eye contact is very telling in most situations. It's a very commonly used type of nonverbal communication. It's very easy for one to draw conclusions from someone's eye contact. For example, the timing of eye contact, how long you are in contact with someone else's eyes. If someone's eyes are darting around the room, that could definitely signify nervousness, maybe anxiousness. If someone has constant eye contact, you can definitely assume that the person is having a straightforward conversation. There's nothing behind the scenes, nothing to hide, things like that. The second type is body language. This is definitely a very commonly used form of nonverbal communication. Um, for example, somebody can cross their arms. That may signify annoyance, maybe irritation. If someone's hands are on their hips, that can, signify uh, impatience. And then the next one I have is facial expressions. Um, Shock, happiness, and anger. They are what I have listed. They are definitely a few of the most commonly used and very easily identifiable on someone's face. I did capture a snip here of Jim Carrey's facial expression. It is very telling. You can definitely see some excitement and happiness. Um, I'm sure others could draw other conclusions from that one. I have posture listed. This is how you position your body, not necessarily just your core. It can involve your arms, the way your neck is positioned, different things like that. If your body is slouched, that can definitely signify maybe some laziness, somebody feeling tired. If you're sitting straight up, I think of somebody being more attentive, more interested. Someone may have their arms crossed. Um, I know that I cross my arms if I'm impatient. Size are another one. Size can be done differently according to actually who the person is and how they're feeling about a situation. Long size, short size. Long sigh may signify, tiredness. If when I think of a short sigh, I think of a like an exasperated sigh. Uh, Nonverbal communication is something that cannot be faked. According to Professor Morabian, there is a known rule as the 7% rule. He started spreading his theory to people that he associated with in the beginning, but then he actually published his theory into a book. His theory states that 7% of all communication is verbal and 93% of the communication is nonverbal. So it's a pretty big difference there. I put some statistics together in a pie chart. Um, I have voice tone, words, and body language listed. Voice tone is actually proven to be 38%. Words definitely is verbal communication, so that is the 7%. And then body language actually holds a good 55%. Um, there was just a couple of more things that I wanted to mention. And that is, it's very easy for verbal communication to contradict any nonverbal communication that you're giving off, and we may not always be aware of that issue. Um, this can be an issue. It can lead to, confusion in the conversation. It can definitely lead to some tension if somebody is taking your nonverbal communication over your verbal communication, and they may, think that you're taking things a different way than you actually are. But whether somebody is throwing their hands up in exasperation or whatever the deal is, we just need to make sure that we are very in tune with our actions and the gestures we're making, and it can all make for a better conversation. And then I have my works cited page right here. That's all I've got. Thanks, guys.